Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are moving higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.14%, Dow futures up 0.1%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.14%. Markets are steady and moving positively this morning, bolstered by Jerome Powell's signal that the Federal Reserve policy support that's been in place since the start of the pandemic will be withdrawn cautiously and gradually. As Fed Chair Powell noted, the pairing of bond purchases could start this year, but the Fed is in no hurry to raise interest rates and will be guided by data on COVID-19 risks. The dollar has remained steady against most major peers following Friday's drop. The 10-year Treasury yield has remained around 1.3%. In light of Powell's timeline free scale back update, traders will be keeping their eyes on U.S. jobs data this week as a heads up as to whether the economic recovery merits an earlier tapering. Strong figures could lead to the first steepening of the Treasury yield curve since July. Elsewhere in markets, gasoline futures jumped after the storm in Louisiana disrupted energy supplies. Oil, however, has edged lower as it appears local rigs have escaped significant damage and OPEC producers are expected to endorse a supply increase. Over in Asia, Japan led gains and Chinese tech stocks moved higher due to bargain hunters. Beijing's regulatory broadside against private industries has been highlighted by Chinese media as a profound revolution, and that anyone who resisted would face punishment. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Well, Shane, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long, and they've been flat to higher. They jumped at that 8 a.m. hour, but realistically, they've been selling off. So we're back to being flat. So I'm a little cautious, and I'm wondering, if Friday's rally, I'm wondering if we may fall victim to some selling pressure this week ahead of the long weekend. So I'm cautious today, that's for sure. I'm looking at the oil prices. They do remain in focus with regards to the Hurricane Ida making landfall yesterday. We also have that OPEC meeting, which is a factor. What I'm looking for, and then of course we have the economic reports, and the key economic report this week is got to be the non-farms payroll, which is a widely watched indicator by the FOMC, and this number's coming out Friday. Early estimates are suggesting 750,000 new positions added for August. But my main focus is on earnings. Today we have earnings for Zoom, and then we have a couple other really good companies that I'm watching, PVH Corp, Crowdsource, Con Stores, Five Below, Broadcom, DocuSign, Ciena. They're all releasing this week. So this is what I'm looking forward to, Shane.
Let's get right into that, talking about earnings to watch, starting with what's come out so far. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, Catalent came out. That's ticker CTLT, Charlie, Tom, Larry, Tom. They beat by 13 cents, and they did it on higher revenue. You look at the stock this morning, and it is trading higher, which is a nice benefit. I see right now that the stock is up 2.8%. But this afternoon, the big one that people are waiting for, that's Zoom Video. That's ticker ZM, Zebra Michael. Their EPS estimate is $1.16. You're looking at Zoom this morning, it's up 0.35. Zoom is expected to, have a move of 8.58% when they release this afternoon. And then we, look forward to tomorrow. We have NetEase going to be reporting. That's ticker NTES, Nancy, Tom, Edward, Sam. Their EPS estimate is 78 cents, and the expected move there is 6.88%. We also have PVH Corp reporting tomorrow afternoon. That's ticker PVH, Paul Victor Henry. Their EPS estimate is $1.19, and the expected move there is 9.74%. And of course, we have CrowdStrike reporting tomorrow afternoon as well. That's ticker CRWD, Charlie, Richard, William, David. The EPS estimate is 9 cents, and the expected move here is 7.62%. But these are some of the earnings that I'm looking forward to, Shane.
Moving to our economic reports, Bill, tell us what reports are coming out today.
At 10 a.m. this morning, we have the pending home sales coming out, and then at 10:30 we have the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Survey, which will be, both will be widely watched by the market today.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with Rio Tinto, ticker RIO. Rio Tinto has made an offer to Mongolia as it seeks to complete the development of a large copper mine in the Gobi Desert to speed up returns from the near $7 billion underground expansion of the mine. Rio Tinto is willing to reduce the interest rates on loans to Ulaanbaatar to fund its share of the construction costs. In return, Rio is demanding a number of regulatory and budget issues to be cleared up and a long-term power agreement put in place so that it can start complex caving process. Rio's share price is up 0.84% in pre-market. Here's some acquisition news. Catalan, ticker CTLT, is set to buy Highlander's portfolio company Batera Holdings for $1 billion. Baxter International, ticker BAX, is in advanced talks to acquire Hillrom, ticker HRC, in a deal valued at about $10 billion or $150 per share. Hillrom's share price is up 7.98% in pre-market, actually a little bit lower now, but fluctuating between those numbers, 7% and 8%. And merger news, Revelation Biosciences is set to go public through a SPAC merger with Petra Acquisition. The combined company will be valued at $128 million. Elsewhere on the tape, the Australian government is mulling plans to regulate digital payment services offered by companies like Alphabet, ticker GOOG, Unit Google, and Apple, ticker AAPL. This comes after a review that was proposed that would give Frydenberg more control over the payment systems. The proposed changes would allow Frydenberg to classify digital wallets as designated payment systems and set binding directions for them. In other news, Pfizer, ticker PFE, a phase 3 study on its treatment for dermatitis met its co-primary and key secondary efficacy endpoints. Pfizer's share price is down 0.52% in pre-market. News on Tesla, ticker TSLA. Tesla is in preliminary talks with at least 3 local suppliers of critical components as part of its move to enter the Indian market. Tesla recently had a meeting with the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association of India to discuss the sourcing of critical electronical and mechanical parts such as instrumental panels, windshields, differential gear, brakes, and power seats. Tesla's share price is up 0.27% in pre-market. Lastly for me, one on United Airlines, ticker UAL, and Boeing, ticker BA. United Airlines 777 MAX jets with Pratt & Whitney engines may not fly until early next year. One UAL flight that was heading to Honolulu suffered an engine failure, and regulators are now considering an extra engine blade inspection and a proposed modification aimed at preventing engine coverings from ripping off should a fan blade break during flight. United Airlines share price is up 0.5% in pre-market, while Boeing's is up 0.34%. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific industries such as oil and gas. I'm also following the semiconductors as well as a host of other industries. I also do events, whether that be for buybacks, earnings, or any type of catalyst that can move the stock price. I'm looking at my FANG alert this morning, and it's really rather light. Apple's iPhone 13 is said to have the ability to use satellite communications. It's interesting. We'll see if that's going to have what the ramifications will be for that. Going over to my Dow Jones 30 alert, Disney, ESPN is seeking to license its brand to major sports betting companies. That's kind of interesting for shares of Disney. Boeing, ticker BA, they settled with their Air Force One subcontractor regarding the Air Force One plane. That went bankrupt. Microsoft researchers who discovered that massive flaw in their main database stored in Microsoft's cloud platform. Well, on Saturday, they urged all users to change their digital access keys. McDonald's, that's ticker MCD. McDonald's and other restaurants, they're really giving some strong thought to closing indoor dining, just mainly because of the surge in the Delta virus. Walmart, along with CVS and Walgreens, they're going to be expanding in-person mental health services. They believe that this is an area where they're, weak in and that they could bring in some additional revenue for them. Honeywell is continuing to deal with suppliers on supply chain issues. Honeywell said in their earnings report that second quarter revenue would have been $100 to $200 million higher if the supply chain issues weren't constrained. So that's something to think about heading into Honeywell's next earnings report. Going to the options market, I was focused on Hurricane Ida in the option markets on Friday. And what I saw was that the overall implied volatility in the option markets was essentially low pending the hurricane. This is true for the oil companies as well as the home improvement stores like Home Depot and Lowe's. You look at the hurricane, yeah, it did hit. It did knock out electric, but it seems to not be as bad as what could have been. So that's a positive. You're looking over at the buyback, my buyback alert. It hit on shares of TUYA, Tom Under Yellow Apple, who announced a 200 million share repurchasing program, a $200 million share repurchasing program. And DOYU, this is ticker DOYU, David Oscar Yellow Under. The company has authorized a share repurchasing agreement under which the company may repurchase up to 100 million shares of its ordinary stock in the form of an ADR over the next 12 months. But that's all I'm seeing as far as news events this morning, Shane.
Let's talk about our trade talk picks for today. I'm picking Hill-Rom, ticker HRC. This is one I spoke about earlier that's in the advanced talks for acquisition with Baxter International, ticker BAX. The deal being valued at $150 per share and likely to go down very soon. The share price is only up right now, some between 7 and 8%, but it's really staying around $143. So there's $7 more to move if this acquisition squares away. So since it's likely to, and that would really bring the price up another $7. I think this could be a good move for us. So that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
I'm going with PVH Incorporated. That's ticker Paul Victor Henry, PVH. This is an earnings play. They're releasing earnings tomorrow after the close. PVH, on June 23rd, they updated their full year outlook in connection with its earlier announcement. I review what the brokers are saying. They're all positive on the stock. And in fact, on July 14th, Goldman initiated coverage with a buy rating. The fact of the matter is you look at their clothing retailers and clothing is selling. Macy's, for example, did very well on the sales of clothes over this last quarter. Where do they get their clothes from? Firms like PVH. So I'm looking for shares of PVH to trade higher today. And that's my pick for today, Paul Victor Henry.
Moving into what's hot off the press, the news is hitting the tape as we speak. Let's talk about it. Bill, what are some headlines we should let traders know about?
Adtran, that's ticker ADTN, Apple, David, Tom, Nancy. They're going to require ADVA, Apple, David, Victor, Apple, in a deal valued at $931 million.
Celebrite, ticker CLBT, just completed a business combination with TWC Tech Holdings, which is ticker TWCT.
Take a look at Fuller Brush, that's ticker FUL, Frank Under Larry. They're going to implement an 11% surcharge on shippings of products globally effective September 1.
Another acquisition story, Synaptics, ticker SYNA, has agreed to a combination deal with DSP Group, that's ticker DSPG, with Synaptics acquiring DSP at $22 a share. There's some news on Carlyle Group. Carlyle Group, ticker CG, has emerged as the preferred bidder for Baring Private Equity, Asia's Indian portfolio Hexaware Technologies, which could sell for $3 billion.
An update to that Disney ESPN story just came out, whereas Morgan Stanley favors Caesars Entertainment, ticker CZR, Charlie Zebra Richard, over DraftKings, ticker DKNG, for the ESPN deal.
Here's a stock to watch. Vinco Ventures, ticker BBIG, has just added 64% in pre-market this morning after an 81% gain on Friday. Novo Integrated Sciences, ticker NVOS, has just set to acquire 7 pharmacies in the U.S. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Same here. So that's what's hot off the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out and get a free trial. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Friday, I had DraftKings ticker DKNG, which opened at $58.14 and went as high as $60.01 for a 3.11% gain. In pre-market this morning, the stock is already continuing to rise, up another 0.77%. So, if you bought Friday and you held till today, you got a 4% gain pretty much. So it was a good move for us. Pretty happy about that one. How'd yours do, Bill?
Well, I did FireEye on Friday. That's ticker FEYE, Frank Edward, Yellow Edward. Stock opened up at $18.37 and hit a high on Friday of $18.81. Now that's a 2.5% move, 2.4% specifically. The stock closed at $18.55, which is like a 1% move. In the pre-market, you see it at $18.75, so it's back trading near the high. Hacking news tends to deliver gains for cybersecurity stocks. This is why we went long this stock on Friday, because we had a good feeling that it was going to lift all the boats in this sector. And sure enough, you saw crowdsourced running higher, and FireEye followed up going higher and extending their gains as well. So that's always a good play and something to remember in the future.
Nice, good picks all around. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk with Traders. You know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.